Grand Rising, my sweet babies and fabies and gaybies. I love you all, and I'm so excited to do this tarot reading today. I know that we've been waiting on a tarot reading for healing trauma, so that is what we're getting down to. I didn't feel like putting my face in this one because I'm not feeling super good about myself physically in my avatar body today. So we're just gonna go with the cards and the crystals and what those messages look like and what those pictures look like. So here we go. I do want to start with my Morgan Greer deck, and I'm gonna use all 78 cards for this one. Just because I feel really comfortable with this deck and I used it for a really long time. This is probably the deck that I've had the longest. And I just want to see what kind of messages I can get in regards to healing trauma from it. So I'm going to shuffle a little bit and we'll see what we get. I'm going to do some flips. Ooh. Okay, so the first card we got was this one that fell down. I can't flip it over. Oh my gosh. The Knight of Cups reversed. And the Ace, the Three of Swords reversed. Okay, let's see if we get anything else. Okay, the Four of Pentacles reversed. So right off the bat, a lot of difficulty here with how we're feeling internally. Some financial difficulty as well. And difficulty determining where our motives are. Okay, so first and foremost, that's what I'm seeing a lot of is just we're not trusting. All right. So let me back up. The Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups can be like almost emotionally reckless. You know, it's somebody who has a pretty okay grasp on what it means to be emotional, but isn't really expressive of it in the healthiest ways and may even have some pretty emotional outbursts. You may not be able to control your feelings right now is the message that I'm getting from this, is that there's something that is really just making you feel a whole lot and you're expressing yourselves in the only ways that you know how. Those ways may not be very helpful. The Three of Swords. Now the Three of Swords is always heartache. Reversed, I see it kind of as a more difficult heartache to go through, usually like a betrayal or somebody telling you a lie. You know, there's just something that happened there where trust was really broken, is where that Three of Swords reverse comes in. It's like you trusted somebody so much and then they broke it, and now you don't even feel like you can trust yourself because you feel like you made such a wrong decision that you're like, wow, I really did that to myself. You feel like you're responsible. The reality of it is that you did not put those swords in your own heart. But the longer that you keep them there, the more suffering that you're going to go through. So you have to pull those swords out in order for yourself to heal. You have to face whatever it is that hurt you so that you can heal. The Four of Pentacles is you have no financial security, is what I'm really seeing. It's a lot of paycheck to paycheck. You're trying to save, but you're just not able to do it. Maybe you have unexpected expenses coming up at the last minute, and you keep having things that you need to pay for. You have bills on top of bills. You're falling behind. You're really not being able to catch up to what it is that you need to pay for living, you know, financially. and it's causing you to have this great stress on you. And I'm seeing that you've asked for help, but there's not really anybody that can help you right now. And as unfortunate as that is, there's so many things that you're dealing with right now that even though it's the biggest and looks like the most important thing for me that I'm seeing that is like hounding you right now, it's not what you're most focused on. You are equally focused on your finances and getting your finances in order as you are on yourself and your intuition and guiding yourself towards higher knowledge. So then you have your Ace of Wands and your Six of Wands. And together, those signify more of a rough start. You didn't really get off to the right foot, but you're handling it as well as you possibly can. And because of that, you're going to come back from it very rewarded. You're going to feel like you did the right thing, and that is going to be enough for you. You're not really going to need any more than that, because you're going to know, okay, well, I tried my best, and that was all that I could do. I did everything that I possibly could, and I'm out of that situation now. You're going to feel such a sense of relief. It'll feel like a homecoming almost, like you're coming back home to yourself, and you'll feel maybe not complete, but you'll feel less like you're in pieces. So that's something to look forward to. In the midst of all of these challenges and all of these obstacles that you're going through, there is going to come that sense of relief in the end. Everything that you're experiencing right now is temporary, and the universe is going to take care of all of it for you. All you have to do is trust and keep the faith that you're going to be okay. Everything is working out in divine timing. That's all that you really need to remind yourself of. It's okay to feel stressed out. It's okay to feel frustrated and angry and sad and in pain. Feel all of that. You absolutely should, 100%. But if you get to a point where you're feeling hopeless, that's when you need to remind yourself, this too shall pass. I will be okay. I will get through this just like I've gotten through everything else that's come my way. Okay, tarot reading number 2. Also for healing trauma, but this is going to be more of like a soul level, okay? It's going to be very deep stuff. What we're going to get into here can be triggering. So trigger warning, just in case any of that comes out. I don't want anybody to be alarmed. There's probably going to be some mention of, that seems like wrong, so I'm going to pick all those back up. There's probably going to be some kind of mention of mental health or mental disabilities, family trauma, sexual trauma, things like that. So trigger warning. Okay. So right now what I'm seeing is neglect. I'm seeing somebody got abandoned or was abandoned or feels abandoned by the person who they were supposed to be able to go to for guidance in their life, the Hierophant. So the moon reversed is being extremely isolated and super depressed. You know, it's that feeling of, I have nobody there for me. I can't even be there for me. And I don't even really care, because I'm just so deep in this sadness that all I can do is be sad. The moon reversed is indicative to me of a very, very lonely inner child. In a healing trauma reading, the moon reversed is just not only neglect of the child that you were by the people around you, but now you also neglecting your inner child because nobody ever took care of you. you never learned how to take care of them. That is reflected in the Hierophant as the very next card. So you felt isolated, you felt alone, you felt neglected and abandoned because the people, the authority figures in your life, the adults in your life, the Hierophants in your life did not do their jobs correctly. And the Wheel of Fortune, you had no control over that. That was universal forces that were causing moments to happen that you had absolutely no control over. That is a good majority of our adolescent lives and early childhood lives, is not having any control over what happens to us, because other people have more power over our lives and our bodies than we do as children. And that is super debilitating. That feeling, oh my goodness, that feeling can just be like, it feels hopeless, like you're never going to get out of that situation. And that's what these two next cards, the Hermit and the Hanged Man, symbolize. It symbolizes that feeling of isolation and feeling stuck in that isolation. So because you felt so alone and so excluded and isolated from everything and everyone for your entire life, now you have this alternate perspective. As the Hanged Man, you see things completely differently, and not in a good way. You see the world and all of its bad parts. You see all of the dangers that can come of this world, and you're seeing everything. You're seeing all of the bad, and it's a lot more difficult for you to see the good than it is any of the bad, because it's so clear. It's so clear, and it's so in your face, and it's so obvious, and it's not hidden. So it becomes so difficult for you to change that mindset, because you're now stuck. The Hanged Man, you're stuck in this point of view, and you don't understand why other people just can't get it. Nobody's seeing things the way that you're seeing them, and that's because nobody else is experiencing life the way that you are experiencing it, strung up from your own wounds. The Hermit and the Hanged Man, you're so alone. You're so alone. That's okay. It's okay to be alone. But if you're alone forever, I can't even finish that sentence, because you're not going to be alone forever. Nobody could be alone forever. It just can't happen. It cannot happen. Nobody can do anything without another person. If you really think about it, sure, you can go pay your bills by yourself online. You can go mail a check by yourself in the mailbox, but who's going to pick up that mail check and get it to the place where it needs to go? A post office worker, not you. You didn't deliver that all by yourself. You didn't do every single step of the process. No. Someone else had to help you, even to get the most trivial things done. So working together in harmony with the other humans in our lives is going to be the most healing thing that we can possibly do. The Chariot begins with you. We always have to start with ourselves when we want to interact with other people, because our relationship with ourselves is the most important thing. The way that we treat ourselves sets the guideline, it sets the template for how we treat other people. If we are treating ourselves with malice and judgment and crudeness and cursing and name calling, then it's likely that we will treat other people that way as well. Even if we don't want to admit it to ourselves, it's very likely. We will always be harder on ourselves than we ever are on anyone else, though. And that's why it's so important to start with us. Because once we can accept ourselves for who we are, accept our mistakes, accept our flaws, forgive the parts of us that didn't know any better at the time, then the sooner we can move on, and the sooner that we can acquire new knowledge and rewire our brains into the way of thinking that is going to be beneficial and symbiotic for our physical, mental, and spiritual bodies. So the Chariot is representative of that balance, learning how to balance your desires and your responsibilities, because both are important. Feeling joy and feeling like you're taking care of the things that need to be taken care of. Oftentimes responsibilities are not fun and we don't want to do them, but they need to get done. Laundry, taking care of our hygiene, taking care of our kids or our pets, or cleaning our apartment or our house, doing, any remedial task that can seem like a little bit too much on a really bad day. Those are the things that we need to learn how to balance, because I know when those things get a little bit too much, I let my desire take a little bit more of the reign. It has a little bit more power, and I start to indulge in things that maybe I shouldn't be indulging in. Maybe these things aren't so healthy for me. Maybe I'm giving my desire a little bit too much power here. I need to pull it back, and I need to balance my desire and my responsibility. So there's that notion there. And in doing that, in balancing that desire and that responsibility, not allowing yourself to indulge in unhealthy coping mechanisms, and keeping everything that you have in order. Not every day, it doesn't have to be every day, but trying to, at least. That is going to take you so far. It's going to take you very, very far, because you'll be putting the effort forth. And you'll be able to recognize that, thank yourself for it, and begin to see the progress. You'll begin to see how your life changes every single day, the way that you speak to yourself, the way that you speak to others, and your motivation for being alive. It completely shifts. So the way to do that is to come back to the beginning, to the moon, to the place and time where you felt like you were neglected. Who is that? Who is that person in that very first memory, or the most painful one, the most painful memory that you could possibly remember of not having somebody there for you? Go back to that moment and sit with yourself. Ask yourself what you need. If it's a hug, give yourself a hug. If you just need to cry, let yourself cry. Give yourself a safe space to cry where you won't get screamed at or told to shut up, because that's not what you deserved. You deserved to have the space. You deserved to be understood, to be heard, and to be comforted. And you can give that to yourself. You can give it to yourself now, you can give it to yourself then, and you can give it to yourself in the future.